Hi, my name is Catherine Went with Syscon, and thanks for taking a moment of your time. Today I wanted to share with you a book that I recently finished, The Power to Change by Groeschel. I've seen Mr. Groeschel speak a number of times, and this last August he was the opening speaker for the Global Leadership Summit, a group that he's very involved with. He shared another encouraging and challenging message, and so I decided to go ahead and purchase his most recent book, and I'm glad I did. So at first, the first couple sections that I started reading, it seemed kind of a repeat of books that I've read by Darren Hardy and James Clear. Very helpful, of course, but very similar to the messages in those other books. I went ahead and kept reading, and I'm glad I did. There is some overlap, but there is definitely some good follow-up things in here as well. So in his first section, he's talking about who we are as individuals. And he's talking about the difference between who we are and how we label ourselves. And he talked about some obvious things. If you smoke, you shouldn't, but if you do, you might define yourself as a smoker, but that's a label. That's not who you are. If you struggle with procrastination, you might identify yourself as a procrastinator, but that's not who you are. And he's also talking about the power of these messages and these labels, not only in what we say to ourselves, but also to others and how we might identify ourselves. Kind of a small shift, but subtle, getting away from the labels and really knowing who you are. He also talked about defining the win. So changes that we might want to make are going to take time. So clearly defining the win, what it looks like in detail, and maybe a couple different wins along the way can be very helpful. Another subtle shift, but being able to identify those wins along the way can bring encouragement as you're trying to make those changes. The next big takeaway that he shared was this phrase, I'm in training. So when you're seeing the warm cookie or the treat or the extra piece of cake, or you want to stay under the covers an extra few minutes, telling yourself I'm in training reminds us that we've got that commitment and a goal in mind. And often that can be just enough to get us moving forward on that goal. He talks about the importance of habits, and he offsets that with hoping versus building habits. And he is a preacher, so of course he's got a section in here about the power of God's power and comparing that to willpower and how we can hook into God's power through prayer. So each chapter has room for notes and reflection at the end. It's nicely laid out, and I definitely would encourage you to take a look at the book. Again, it's The Power to Change by Groeschel. Thanks for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.